This is Jared Horak for today's RacingDigest.com, and my Today's Racing Digest video series continues Saturday, March 28th, 2020. We're going to look at two races on the Florida Derby card. It's an outstanding card. 14 races on that program for Florida Derby Day. Many stakes races, full fields throughout the day, excellent betting opportunities. And if you're interested in getting the complete digest for Florida Derby Day, head over to today'sracingdigest.com. You'll get the fast figs included with your complete digest. The complete digest is $8, including the fast figs, analysis for all 14 races, all the Today's Racing Digest speed figures, including the CPR, the comprehensive performance rating, the fast figs, as I mentioned, final ratings, pace figures, much more. So head over to today'sracingdigest.com if you're interested in that complete digest. We're going to do two of the races, and we're going to do the Kentucky Derby and the Kentucky Oaks prep races. Now, as we said last week, and as everybody knows by now, the Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Oaks have been moved from the first Friday and Saturday in May to the first Friday and Saturday in September due to the coronavirus pandemic. So Friday, September 4th is going to be the Kentucky Oaks now. Saturday, September 5th is going to be the Kentucky Derby. So we have plenty of time. Basically, for the Florida Derby, 100 points to the winner. If you win, you're definitely in, but you got to maintain your form now for another 5 months. So let's start with Gulfstream Park Race 11. We're going to do the Grade 2 Gulfstream Park Oaks, 1 mile and a 16th on the main track. And we're going to pull up the fast figs. This is the fast figs spotlight race. And for the fast figs in this race, we have Tonalist shape with a 129. He's got the best fast fig. And the fast fig is a combination class and speed figure all rolled into one. Spice is Nice with a 128 is second. So Tonalist and Shape and Spice is Nice, they have the top two fast figs. Lucrezia and Dream Marie both have 125s. It's probably, looking at the fast figs, obviously Tonalist Shape and Spice is Nice are solid contenders. If you want to learn more about the fast figs, you can check out in the description in this video. I have multiple links that'll take you to articles that will talk about the fast figs, how to use them, how successful they've been for today's RacingDigest.com. And they still have the $39 for 30 days deal going on for the fast figs. And you can get them for $3 a card. As I mentioned, if you get this complete digest from Gulfstream Park, it will be available with that complete digest. So now that we've seen the fast figs, we know the top contenders, the top two contenders are probably going to be your two favorites as well. Let's look at some of the other contenders and the pace scenario. So number 4, Lake Avenue for trainer Bill Mott is a bit interesting. This one could be the one to catch in here. Just not sure what she's really going to do. Because last year in the Demoiselle, in her third lifetime start, and she ran well in her first two starts, and then in the 1 mile and an 1/8 Demoiselle, she was able to get out there from an outside post and wire the field. The problem, that was Cigar Mile Day, and there was a big speed bias that day. Horses that were able to get up on the pace, they dominated all day long, and Lake Avenue was able to ride that speed bias to victory in the Demoiselle. Then she came back in the Busher at Aqueduct, and she didn't run well. She was up there on the pace. She was a well-beaten fourth. She didn't show much punch at all. So now her second race after a layoff, we'll see if she can hang in longer. She will be a pace factor, and if speed is holding at Gulfstream Park, certainly going to be one of the at least pace players in this race. The one in Inveterate could show some speed from the rail, so that could murk up the pace scenario a bit with Lake Avenue. And some of the other top contenders like to at least be close. Spice is Nice is one that likes to be up on the pace. Lucrezia is another one. Tonalist Shape, we mentioned that one. Mrs. S, a long shot for Todd Pletcher, could be up there. So those horses should be forwardly placed. The favorites shouldn't have any excuse. They should be pretty close to that pace that we just mentioned. Now let's go back and look at some of the other contenders. Lake Avenue, I don't trust her, but if there is a speed bias and she can get out there, I think she can improve for Bill Mott. Dream Marie is one you can use underneath. She was third in the Devona Dale. Now, Tonalist Shape won that one. Spice is Nice was second. She was no match for those two, but she was a clear third. That actually ended a 3-race win streak for her, and I think she can at least land a share in this spot. The 6 Swiss Skydiver, 10-1 morning line. She might be able to get a piece of this. She's going to get pace to chase, probably at least an honest pace. She ran okay in the Rachel Alexandra last time. This is her third start after a layoff. I can see her getting a share of this, maybe more likely third than anything else, but I think that she can rally for at least a share. The 7, Lucrezia, this one's 8-1 morning line. She's one that has back-to-back stakes wins on her resume from Tampa Bay down. She stretched out in distance last time. This is her longest and toughest race yet. She's going to be up on the pace. I don't know how she's going to handle this track as opposed to Tampa Bay, but she was really good at Tampa Bay. Tonalist shape, now we're going to get to the top two. Tonalist shape, obviously, 5 for 5. She's your morning line favorite. All those wins were around one turn. And now I think the key here is she's facing Spices Nice again. And last time, Tonalist shape heading into that race was 4 for 4. She had the distance experience edge on Spices Nice. That stakes experience paid dividend. She was able to get out there and she won. Spices Nice battled hard throughout, but she was second best. But now Spices Nice could turn the tables on her. She ran away in her maiden win. That was 1 mile at Gulfstream Park on January 12th. And then that was a good second in the Devona Dale. She was tracking the pace. She battled hard from start to finish. Clear second. Todd Pletcher and company, they paid more than $1 million for this filly. She's bred to really like two turns. And now that she has that stakes experience, she's got a good post, tactical speed. She might not be the favorite this time. I think Tonalist Shape's going to be the favorite. Spices Nice is going to be the second choice. She has plenty of upside. As I said, early pressing speed, good favorable post, lots of upside here. I picked her in the Devona Dale. I'm going right back with Spices Nice in the Gulfstream Park Oaks. Now let's jump over to Gulfstream Park Fate, race 14, the Grade 1 Florida Derby, 1 mile and an eighth on the main track. This race, we have a full field in here. And probably from the outside, you're going to see Indien going to be gunning from that outside post. He did the same thing last time in the Fountain of Youth Stakes. He had an outside post, and he was sent to the lead, and he was able to easily wire the field that day. So you got to look for him to Indien to jump out there and try to go wire to wire again. But he's facing a better, deeper field this time. And horses that have good tactical speed, like your morning line favorite, Tis the Law, who beat Indien in the Holy Bull, where he just tracked that one and went by. So now Indien's going to face horses with much better horses with tactical speed right behind him. They're not going to let him get away. And he's one that I think he's more vulnerable this time than it looks on paper based on that last blowout win. Now the one is as seen on TV. He'll be forwardly placed, but I don't think he can get the distance. The two, Shivaree, probably going to be at least forwardly placed, but seems overmatched. Disc Jockey stretching out, ran well against lesser company. This is a much tougher test. Soros is the next one. He's entering in an allowance race on Friday. That's probably the spot that they're going to go with him. Gouverneur Morris, only his 4th lifetime start. Excuse me. Ran well on both 2-year-old starts and then came back with the win at Tampa Bay Downs last time. Ajaaweed, he's one that's a big closer, so look for him late if he can get involved. Tis the Law is going to track the pace and try to get first run on the closers. My First Grammy looks overmatched. Independence Hall, we'll see if he can handle the distance. The key here is like if he can really get the distance. He was really good earlier in his career around one turn. He started to stretch out since then. Hasn't been quite as good, but he's always run well. Candy Tycoon for Todd Pletcher was a distant second in the Fountain of Youth. Has really improved around 2 turns, but he's going to have to improve again. Then you have Sassy but Smart, seems overmatched in here. Indien, I mentioned that one. And then also eligible Rogue Element. So those are the horses for the Florida Derby. Now let's try to break down the main contenders in this race. I already mentioned Indien. I'm going to try to beat him. He's going to send to the lead. I just think there are better horses with tactical speed in here. They're going to pressure him in the mid-race, and he's just not going to be able to get the mile and an eighth distance. At least that's the way I'm looking at it. If there's a speed bias and he can get loose, maybe he can hit the board, but I still don't think he's going to win. The 3, Disc Jockey, 20-1 morning line. He easily won his first 2 starts, and his numbers jumped up second time out. And then and that was after his first start after the Safi Joseph claim. And then last time, extended sprint, 7 furlongs, restricted stakes company. He was a clear second. Probably should have beat that field, but he did run an okay second. And his speed figure was okay again. And now if he can move forward again, I think maybe he can hit the board. I think it's a bit of a stretch to say he can win this. Good post, improving horse, lightly raced, good barn. Not the worst stab in the world. The 6, Ajaaweed, 20-1. I really liked his effort in the Remsen at this mile and an eighth distance. It was a speed favoring track. Shatsky had every advantage. Ajaaweed closed that day, and horses really weren't closing, so that was a good effort. And then he was just no threat in the Sam F. Davis in his return, a distant third. Second start now, back at a mile and an eighth. Excuse me. He's one that certainly can finish third or fourth and spice up the exotics. Now, Tiz the Law is going to be the one to beat in here. He looked really good in the Holy Bull. He earned a strong speed figure, tracking the pace and running away from Indien. He missed a couple workouts, and he threw a shoe last month in February. He missed a couple works. Probably not that big a deal for this race. He's one that is, since then, he's worked a bullet on March 8th. He's got a decent post, tactical trip. He's not going to offer any value, but if he does run back to his last, he's the one to beat. But it should be mentioned that his 2-year-old races weren't nearly as fast, so maybe that was a bit of an aberration last time. We'll have to see. Just overall, just based on talent, he can certainly win, but he's not going to offer a lot of value. Independence Hall, my second choice. He's 9-2. He ran the best juvenile race of 2019 in the Nashua. He earned a strong speed figure. He dominated that race, and then he came back in the Jerome. He was acting up in the paddock. He didn't have a good break. He was wide, rushed up, took the lead, and ran away from a bad field that day. That was a bit of a disappointing effort, even though he won easily, just because he was making those mistakes. And then last time in the Sam F. Davis, very fast pace. He stalked. He got first run, but he was close to that fast pace, and he wanted to go after those horses. And I think that was his downfall. He just wanted to go after those top two. He was too eager. And then even though he took the lead, Sol Volante ran him down pretty easily, but he was clearly second best. The key here is getting him to relax. I saw an article, Michael Trombetta said maybe because they're not having a crowd there, that will help him relax more. And maybe that will be the case. We'll have to see. If Independence Hall is able to relax, he looks relaxed in the paddock, he looks relaxed in the post-parade, he breaks well, and he doesn't go after the leader at Indien, and he just sits a nice tracking trip. I think he's got a shot. He's got the talent, and he's fast enough to win a race like this. I'm going to go with the 5 Gouverneur Morris. He's 8-1 morning line. He's always been my top Kentucky Derby contender since I started my Derby list September of last year. I've kept him on top all along. He ran away in his debut at Saratoga, and then second time out in the Breeders' Futurity from the outside post. He was wide throughout. First start around 2 turns, first start against winners, first stakes start, outside post, wide trip. Good effort. He took the lead, but then it was no match for Max Field, who went right by him. But he still fought hard, and he finished second. Enforceable was third. He came back and won the Lecomte Stakes. Ajaaweed was fourth there, finished second in the Remsen after that. So he faced some decent horses in that race. And then his return was pretty good at Tampa Bay. Untitled, went out to the front. Gouverneur Morris chased. He was able to run that one down, win nicely around 2 turns. Good optional claiming effort there. And for that effort, out of that effort, Untitled came back and finished second in the Gotham. So Gouverneur Morris faced a decent horse last time. I like his good post, right in the middle, tactical speed. They paid $600,000 for this one. Another Todd Pletcher top choice. I went with his Spice is Nice in the previous race that I did. So I like his good post, tactical speed. He's got a bullet work for this on March 15th. There's plenty of upside, lightly raced. We'll see if he's this good right now. I think that it really helps him that the Derby's moved back further. It gives him more time to develop. He's only run once in Optional Claiming Company this year. So they have plenty of time for Gouverneur Morris. Maybe this is a bit soon, but I'm going to take my chances. If he's 8-1, good post, tactical speed, he's got plenty of upside, and I'll take my chances with Gouverneur Morris in the Florida Derby. Now we're going to jump back to the Gulfstream Park Oaks, and I'm going to give out wagering strategies for that one. For the Florida Derby, my top choice is Gouverneur Morris. For the Gulfstream Park Oaks, my top choice is Spice is Nice, and here's how we're going to play it. We're going to bet Spice is Nice to win. We're going to play an exacta Spice is Nice over the 9 Tonalist shape. And I'm going to play a trifecta key. I'm going to key Spice is Nice, number 5, on top of the 4 Lake Avenue, the 6 Swiss Skydiver, the 7 Lucrezia, the 8 Dream Marie, the 9 Tonalist shape. So that's number 5 to win, exacta 5-9, trifecta key 5 over the 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. So those are the wagers for the Gulfstream Park Oaks. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel, make some comments in the comments section. Who do you like in the Gulfstream Park Oaks Florida Derby or any of the other stakes races on an outstanding Florida Derby Day program at Gulfstream Park on Saturday, March 28th. Again, jump over to todaysracingdigest.com if you're interested in the complete digest. If you're interested in my full card analysis from Santa Anita Park, You can also find that at todaysracingdigest.com, and I'm going to have analysis of all the stakes races from Gulfstream included in that Santa Anita full card. So that will wrap up this week's video. Hopefully we'll be back next week. They're still running through this coronavirus pandemic. If I am back next week, it will be Santa Anita Derby Day, and that will definitely be the race that I will be covering. Until then, good luck at the races and stay safe.